I'm of the belief that we don't want to win the play-in tournament. And I get their regular season games too. You don't want to lose too many games. But you saw what happened to the Lakers last year after they won it. They went on the worst losing streak of the season. I think that that's going to be a trend. You go to Vegas, the NBA's trying to make you celebrate in the locker room. That was one of the most embarrassing things I've seen LeBron ever have to do, was pop that bottle of champagne. But I just think there's going to be a weird trend. I don't think teams have necessarily believe it yet, but watch, a couple seasons from now, you're going to see teams kind of just bailing out of this tournament and not trying to win it. That said, I'm curious to see the whistle we get in these play-in games, these tournament games, because the Lakers win it last year. You got LeBron with the champagne and hoisting up that first ever trophy. Who would be next in line for the NBA and the viewership and the talking heads? It'd be Steph Curry, right? And so I'm curious to see our whistle in these tournament games. But the bigger story, obviously, is Klay's return. Everyone is getting a Captain Klay's hat in attendance, and everyone was expecting this, emotional moment, and they're trying to really go out of the way for Klay. You probably heard it by now, but let me play it for you if you haven't. This is Klay on his return.
The initial feelings about going back to Golden State, place you played for 13 seasons. So what are those initial emotions?
Be good to see people that you grinded with, obviously, but to me, it's just another regular season game in November. Obviously, there's bigger implications with the NBA Cup, so that's what's on our mind. In my mind, is just to win that, because I haven't been a part of it yet. I know it's young, but it'd be fun to play for that title.
Yeah. Do you think it'll be difficult to kind of compartmentalize just everything that you're probably gonna feel going into that arena and actually playing in the game?
No, I don't think so. I've been doing this a long time, and basketball is basketball.
Are you, were you surprised that they're giving out the captain's hats?
I guess it's a good thing for the fans, so kudos to them.
What are your thoughts on him as a potential matchup? Like, since you're familiar, obviously, with like kind of the philosophy, the play style, what's most important, when you're kind of flipping that perspective, entering the matchup against him?
Probably share my knowledge with my teammates and coaches and try and limit what they do well. Obviously, a high volume 3-point shooting team, and switch a ton on defense. So we'll go into Tuesday, try to counteract those two aspects.
I get he's trying to downplay it, and Klay's always been an asshole. He has, right? I think there's a lot more built up bad blood than we think. I think Steph, Draymond, and Steve have been having to tippy-toe around his ego and his feelings since he hurt his knee, since the ACL. And I think it's just an accumulation. And Klay obviously is super salty about how it ended, right? There's no hiding that. When you combine these two things on a national stage, this season tournament, I think it could get ugly, man. I think it could get ugly. I really do. It could really be a tipping point for Klay is if Buddy starts lighting him up with his big ass mouth. How he's smiling and shit. No, but seriously, if Klay gets frustrated, right, and hard fouls Steph on a drive, Draymond might give him the Jordan Poole treatment. No, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but I'm not. I think that this could get really chippy. I really do. And I think they initially were trying to downplay this, but seeing these quotes from Klay and the energy he's going to bring, I think the Warriors, Steph and Draymond and all them, were going to try to keep it cordial. But I don't know if it's going to stay that way. And I'm curious to see how, the Mavericks respond to Klay. I think we know how the Warriors are going to respond in these young guys. And Klay says, we switch a lot. Klay ain't ready for them traps. I'm also curious to see how they deploy the trapping defense against Luka, because he is one of a handful of guys in the league that you kind of can't trap, right? He manipulates the weak side defense so well. He has such size and patience with the basketball. It could be a recipe for disaster. I think you have to pick your spots. I would imagine they're going to double late on Luka in the paint. Like once he picks it up, send somebody else. But I think the most important thing is to remain dynamic with that. I like the Melton on Kyrie matchup. You know GP2 is going to get some minutes. And the depth is where you beat the Mavericks. I don't know if our starters win this game as much as our second unit coming in and overwhelming the Mavericks and their seemingly lack of depth early in this season. I'm excited, y'all. Underdog, click the link in the description. You can use the code Alchemy and get up to $1,000 bonus on your first deposit with Underdog. My picks for the game, I'm going higher on everything here, and it's the big three. Higher on Steph, 25.5, higher on Draymond, and higher on Klay's threes. I think they're all want to do well. And, you know, Klay, I don't know how well Klay will do if he tries to score on his own. But again, you know how aggressive our defense has been, and there's going to be some traps, and Klay's going to get some open looks. And so he's going to knock some down. Draymond's shooting the three ball relatively well. And Steph is Steph, man. And they don't have the perimeter defense that they had in the past. I think Derrick Jones Jr. was one of the better defenders on Steph over the last few years, whether he was in Miami, Phoenix, or with Dallas, and they're missing that aspect of it. I don't think their perimeter defense is strong, and the Warriors have to keep Gafford and PJ Washington off the offensive glass. You know Luka's a dog, though. You know Luka and Kyrie are going to rise to the occasion, not necessarily for Klay, but for the moment, right? The spotlight, they rise to the occasion. So I expect a really competitive game. Is Derek Lively a go? I think that would alter things. Wiggins is listed again with lower back soreness. I could see it. The way he's been rebounding, the effort he's been given on the glass, I could see where he'd have some lower back soreness. Hopefully that's just precautionary. Right. And I like, as opposed to the last two seasons in this matchup, who we can throw at both Luka and Kyrie. Right. You've got GP2, you've got Melton. Right. But then you've got, I think, slow-mo is a good matchup for Luka as well. Expect some slow-mo Luka minutes. And I'm ready, man. It's going to be turned up. Now, I had said I was going to live stream the games. I'm in Arizona time. This game starts at 8:00. So I don't know if I'm going to hop on a live stream at like 11 o'clock. I don't know if I'm going to do that. You might get the breakdown tomorrow on YouTube as well. And obviously always the breakdown. I'm excited, man, but I'm a little bit nervous that this is going to get chippier and uglier than people want it to. But ultimately, I just want the dub. I love beating Luka. And Klay, you know, I don't want him to embarrass himself, but I think it's a possibility. I'll be back with the breakdown in the morning. I'm out, y'all.